Okay, spoken thought. Today's segment, a question I get asked so many times. What is the book about? The book is about finding your higher self, a greater purpose in life, not the meaning that we've been programmed to believe. Grow up, get a job, get married, have kids, live a good life, a greater purpose than that. That's what the book is about, finding a higher purpose. It has to be more than the ignorance of society, the privilege of society. That's the false god, religion, okay? You know, Jews don't like Catholic, Catholics don't like Jews, Christians don't like Jews, Catholic. Every denomination got issues with each other, and we're talking to one spirit. Remember, the seed of your father, the egg of your mother, bonded with God's spirit. That's why we all brothers and sisters. We all brothers and sisters because we come from the same spirit. Maybe not the same seed. My father's seed is different than your father's seed. My mother's egg different than your mother's egg. But what bonds us together is the spirit of God. It doesn't matter if it's a Jewish spirit, a Catholic, or a Jehovah. It's the spirit of God. It's like ice cream. Who cares if it's vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry? The simple mindedness of ignorance of society is what separates us. My color, my skin, I got the same spirit. God is beautiful. He is the true greatest artist that's had ever lived. Ever lived. He designed us, but yet we ignore the true nature of what we know within ourselves. Two things God knows about us: what we think and what we sense. And when you pay enough attention to what you sense, it becomes common between you and God. That's the best common you're gonna ever have. Do on the earth as you would do in the heaven. He gave us many goddesses. We bow down to God and we pray to God because He gives us life. Ask yourself, what brings life to earth? So your first birth is the day that you was conceived in heaven. Your celestial being, a female goddess, a male angel. Ask Alexa, look up the definition of a goddess and angel and forget man-made titles. Man-made title. God don't give a fuck about a husband or wife. That's a title to a white man's contract to enslave a woman. When we should bow down to her. We pray to God through our Father, church. Everything made in the ideal of a white man. False God. Because it's pain and white don't make it right. And if you don't know that within yourself, you will have to answer to that. Trust me. I'm a child that learned how to emulate and imitate every father I ever had in my life. I had 6 of them. Over 20 foster brothers, 6 foster sisters, my real biological sister. I learned how to become me within them. I was that pit bull son. I was that child. And I come to realize I was a man before I became a man. When I should have been a boy, I became a man. When I left my last foster and came to my boys group, I became a man, beating up grown-ass men. It's boring being a man. A man is a lesser creature. What's greater than man is a gentleman to admit to what he knows within himself. It's not what his physical thing is. That's what a man is, physical. God made pit man on earth first to clear a path and build a house. But he sent the woman because a woman's creation. You give her a lemon, she makes a lemonade. You give her a house, she makes a home. Because the first home for any human being child is the second birth on earth, and that is through a woman's womb, the womb of a woman. God gave her enough manner, she should never need, want, or ask for something. It's disrespectful to ask for something you already have. And the day you let anything think you need it, how does it really treat you? It's not a comfortable feeling. It's not. And at the end of the day, ladies, ask yourself, how do you want to be treated? Tough or gentle? A man is a tough creature. We walk around tough. We cannot admit to the shit that I'm saying right now. That's a man. Within himself, he'll know what he needs to admit to. The message, the definition of an angel, a messenger of who? I don't know what message you're getting. It's up to you to admit to that. Because God knows what you think and what you sense. And you deny your thoughts, you deny God. You deny what you sense, you deny God. It's not me. I can give a fuck less. That's the truth. I have to pay attention to me and know who I am. I've been many different type of men, and there ain't none of them good. There was good men, but they know nowhere a G. They nowhere near a gentleman. The shit I suppressed and projected about myself to keep other men away from me and not to fuck with me, trust me. Then the opposite of that is learn how to deal with it within yourself, not to project it out. Not to project out. The shit I have thrown away as men are still trying to pick it up and be it. And it's a waste of time. What's greater than a man? It's a gentleman. Man is not allowed in heaven, nor is a woman. What's greater than a woman is the lady. She has no man in her. God is not going to let a man in heaven. Neither should you. The heaven on earth is between the legs of a goddess. Understand that. She is creation. You give her a seed, she makes a child. Can you deny that? Can you deny that? If you cannot bow down for a goddess on earth, believe me, Jesus is not going to let you bow down for his Father in heaven. You will come back here and repeat it again. God, Jesus has a hell of an enterprise parking lot. You can come back as any living thing, a tree, a fish, a bug, a dolphin. What? Think about it. I don't know if I'm true. I don't know if it's true. But think about it. You got to believe in what you sense within yourself, because that is God talking to you, and Jesus. And I really believe God don't pay attention to what's on earth. Company Earth is ran by Jesus. You would not want somebody to bypass you if your mom and dad gave you the respect to run the company. Follow the chain of command. Before you can ask God anything, you got to go through Jesus. We are soldiers of Jesus. Jesus runs Company Earth. And if he cannot do it, he has the right to ask his Father, but give him the opportunity to resolve and solve. You are out here living the trials that he designed for you. And they was granted by God through his Spirit. God gave you the Spirit to be able to achieve it. You got to believe within that. Believe within that. You'll achieve it. God knows them two things you sense. Your thoughts, when you're thinking about your thoughts, you're having a conversation with God. Only you and God and Jesus know that conversation. What comes over that conversation is wisdom. Nobody can give you better wisdom than Jesus and God. Believe in that. I'm not telling you what you believe and what not to believe. I'm telling you believe within what you know within yourself. And I don't know what that is, neither anybody else. God don't care about a husband or wife. If you're not being treated right as a husband nor a wife, come on. He believes in that union commitment. And if a child comes from that, I don't care. A woman, a mother does labor for God, not man. She does labor for God for 10 months. She give birth to God's child. What's greater, your child or God's child? Would you pitch yourself before God? And it doesn't matter if it's your seed or not your seed. Every child is a child of God. You better respect and honor that child when you're around the presence of that goddess on earth. And if you cannot respect that goddess on earth, you better believe you ain't going to get a chance to respect that goddess in heaven. God in heaven. Do on the earth as you would do in heaven. You better demonstrate to God. Every goddess on this earth need to be taken care of. And his child, the 3 P's, parent the child, provide for the lady. It's not about a wife. You don't have to marry her. If you went through heaven, want to go through heaven, and been trying to go through heaven, you better respect heaven. And the only thing to know how to respect heaven is a gentleman. Ladies, stop looking for men. Stop looking for a man. You date a man will lock you in your woman stage. You will not be able to let go of the man in you. You don't want to be responsible for a man if a man is going through heaven and you want him to go through heaven. If you want him to go through heaven as a man, that's the forbidden fruit. No man should go through heaven. Understand that. That is the forbidden fruit. And then you get upset because you're trying to turn a man into the gentleman. He has to choose that. That is what you call the devil in sheep's clothing. Understand that. And the only thing that reaches angel level, it's a gentleman. I mean, it's not a man angel. It's a gentle angel in heaven. The highest thing a man can be on earth is a gentleman. And when he goes to heaven, he lets go of that man and he becomes a gentle angel, ascending into heaven as a gentle angel. He cannot be a gentle father angel because there's only one father in heaven. But do you understand the titles that you carry? Wow. The highest thing a woman can be on earth is a lady. She let go of the man in her. She entrusted man. True strength is let go of the strength that makes you strong. God gave you man and male, and you should never need, want, or ask for. And don't. Believe in the man that you have. Don't put your faith in man on earth. God gave you man not to do that. It's only true faith is the faith in Jesus and God, not man. God never wanted you to rely on man and believe in man. He gave you man in you. Believe in you. Your man is extraordinary. It's not just a physical creature, it's a mental and emotional creature. That's the woo of you. That's the fee of you. The woo of a woman is the womb. God takes the seed of a man, the egg of a woman. He bonds it together. He placed it, that's the day that was conceived. The birth of an angel and God. What did you give birth to? A son? A son is an angel. A daughter is a goddess. He placed inside your womb for 10 months. The second birth is when it's born on earth as a female, as a male. To walk out its manifestation as a female, girl, woman, lady angel, goddess, a lady goddess, a male, boy, man, a gentle angel in heaven, a lady goddess, a gentle, and that is infinity. That is how your life cycle just keeps going. That angel and goddess is always going to be born as something. It can come back as a tree. It can come back as a dolphin. But make an impression, because that child will have the right to speak to you in heaven and ask for your guidance. That is what we are to hear, the guidance to God's children, to lead them correctly. Don't lie to them. Don't lie to them. Privilege don't set you right in heaven, because it's right on earth don't mean it's right in heaven. And if you know that, then you can correct that, because Jesus and God knows what you sense. So speak the truth, because you're going to be the lady on earth, the mother God's child in heaven. You did labor for God, not Jesus. God. Jesus don't have nothing to do with it. God, that's when you have direct communication with God. An angel's job is to teach you and to make you believe within you. When God is inside you, you tell God everything you want your child to have. Teach your child to believe in the wisdom, his thoughts that he received from God, that he can believe in them. And him, the mysterious part is to make sure that he knows what God is saying and be able to pick out the positive. The positive. The negative is the devil. It's not a person or it's not a being. It's a mentality. Don't do devilish things. Don't do negative mentality things. If you feel it's negative, that is God telling you not to do it. And Jesus telling you not to do it. Jesus will lead you in the direction that he wants you to walk. You are walking the trials that Jesus chose for you. He runs company earth. He runs company earth. Understand that. It's Father's Day in 8 days. It's June 10th. 8 days is Father's Day. Let's be true fathers to God's child. Call your child. Call your son. Call your daughter. A father, you raise the greatest thing a woman can be. That is a lady. A mother raises a woman. Just in case she cannot find a man to treat her like her father. And her father gonna be a gentleman to her, because he's gonna look at the lady in her. It's not about a father and daughter. It's about the behaviors that you're gonna display to her, and the behaviors how you're gonna treat her. You're gonna treat her like a little lady. Her mom is gonna raise the woman in her, make her strong and teach her strong to be strong. She raises that woman in her. She knows what she looks for in her father. We are too weak to even recognize it, but that's what she looks for. That's what she needs. Understand that. We are misleading our children. We don't even know what we're raising our children. We raise two different things. A mother raises a daughter to be a woman. A father raises a daughter to be a lady. A father raises a son to be a man. And a mother raises a son to be the greatest thing he can be. And that's a gentleman. And when you find a mother treating her son much nicer than she treats her daughter, because she's raising two different things. She's raising a man in her daughter and a gentle angel in her son. And dad is doing the same thing with his daughter. He's raising a lady in his daughter and a man in his son. We have to get that correct. We're confusing our child. We have to understand what that is. And a man, teaching a father to raise a man, it's to parent the child, any guy's child. You respect that child, you teach that child. You make sure that child is okay. Don't harm itself. Protect that child. And you provide for the lady of that child, the mother of that child. You provide for the lady, all ladies, all goddesses. You provide, not the one you get a certificate called a marriage license. You can't take that to heaven. God don't care about that union. God cares about the union, the commitment between a human child and a father, a mother, a lady, and a gentleman, and what is right within you, what you know is right. It doesn't matter if you married her or not. If you have a child with her and you're the father of that child, and even if you don't have a child with her, but if you were with her and going through heaven and she has a child, you better be a father to that child. And that's just babysit God's child. And if you babysit that child correctly, that child will call you father. I was a foster child. And the ones that display, they treat me like a son, it comes out your mouth. Mom, dad. It's my right. If a child doesn't say that, the first way a child be able to learn to love another is between his mother and his father. And he has to learn love there before he can love outside his bloodline. He has to learn how to have compassion for his father before he can have compassion for another male out there. And he has to one day show compassion and forgiveness and let go. Because right now we're shooting. Right now we're shooting each other for stupid, immature things. We are stuck in our man stage and our woman stage. We don't know how to let go of that immatureness. That's why God won't let a man and woman in heaven. You have to understand what's greater than a man and a woman. It's the cleaner version of ourselves. And we know that it's a lady and a gentleman. And if you ain't practiced being that, why would you stick in something that God don't want? If you know God won't let a woman in heaven, you know your woman is not nowhere near clean as your lady in you, what you want to project people to see. There's things that I have done as a man that I don't want my mom to know, my dad to know, or my priest, but you better believe Jesus and God knows. I would be ignorant to think they don't know that. I would be ignorant to think they don't know that. And so if I know the cleaner version of who I am as a gentleman, then that's who I need to practice being. And I'm being that now by speaking. A man don't speak. He holds it within himself. The things that he knows, he tries to suppress them mentally and emotionally. And we let that energy go in our physical thing. We exert it there. Ladies, you got to ask yourself, what kind of child do you want to have? A love child or a fuck child? And I say this with understanding. Don't let a man fuck you. So don't have the forbidden fruit given to a man. When you give that fruit to a man, it's the forbidden fruit. If you want to be loved, you have to practice love, and that love is practice being a lady. Love a lady, fuck a freak. But before you can become any male's freak, you have to learn how to love the gentleman in him. And learning to love the gentleman in him is learning to love yourself within that gentleman. Not even him, but you within him. All women know what it feels like to be with a man. Ask yourself, do you know what it feels like to be with a gentleman? If you're trying to be that woman, God don't give a fuck about how big your booty is, how big your titties is, if you got cute face lips. You leave your physical form on earth. You practice in that woman stage. You're having faith in man and hoping that will land your man. God already gave you 2 gifts. And them 2 gifts is, a man is supposed to provide for you, parent your child, and protect you. That was not given by man, that's given by God, because you did labor for him. You did labor for him. And then he gave you the power of creation. Do you understand that? Creation. You give a woman a lemon, she makes lemonade. These are simple little things. Simple little things. You go in the kitchen, you can cook up a storm. When a man's consumed, that's the way through his heart. We've been saying it for years. Do you understand that? We got women now that don't take the time to cook. You're giving the power away that God gave you because you don't understand yourself. You give a woman a house, your presence inside the house makes it a home. The of your womb goes inside the house and kicks out the house and makes it replace it with the It makes it a home. That is a God-given gift by God. A God-given gift by God. If a man asks you, what are you going to do in my house? You tell him my presence is just going to make it feel like a home. And ask any man, is that the truth? They'll tell you it is. If they don't, they're a fool. They're a fool. You got to have that inside a house to make it feel like a home. Cuddly and snuggly. Think about it. In creation, you give a woman a seed. You give a woman a seed, she gives you a child. If we can give the respect to God for him giving life, we better give the respect to a goddess for bringing it to earth. It's simple as that. I don't care what religion you read. I'm speaking to your common sense inside you. Think about it. And when you think about it, you're going to have a conversation with God. And when having that conversation with God, he'll answer it for you. Now you can ignore it or not. And when we see that child, that's God's child coming in the male form or the female form. The first birth is the day that it was conceived. We don't pay attention to our conception date. Our natural human birth date is 10 months later. That's our second day. Our first birth is the day that we was conceived as a celestial being in heaven. Then God, Jesus, picked out the individual man and the individual woman, and God took that seed and bonded the seed and the egg together with his spirit. It's held together with God's spirit. Placed inside the womb of a woman. It's placed inside her womb. It eats from the flesh of a female, the fetus. That is the feet of a female. That is her godlike powers. Her godlike powers. In 10 months, that child will come to earth. Anything that can bleed for 7 days, carry God's child for 9 months and live through a birth, she may not be God, but she's the distance to God. Man may have been stuck on earth first to clear a path and build a house. Then came the woman, to make the house into a home, the womb. Woman. She doesn't want to carry the man in her. Her man is smaller, so you can connect to and understand how you need to address the man in her. How you need to address the male in her female. She doesn't want to carry around that man and male in her. And what's closer to God is a child. What comes after child is God. At any time, God can reach out and grab his child. Then a female will never stand in line as a woman. Only a lady. He can reach and grab a lady. Next, the position of a man. If he chooses to keep him facing earth, but if he chooses to turn around, he's no longer a man. He bows down as a gentleman. And before he can bow down for God, he has to bow down for what's greater than him on earth. And that is a lady and a mother of God's child, a goddess. God only see her as a goddess. God only see us as angels. That's our celestial being. Our human being selves has nothing to do with our celestial beings in heaven. It cannot exist. We leave our flesh on earth. Out of mental, emotional, and physical. Physical is the least important about the human being. Your mental, that is where your mind, that is your energy. That is where your spirit resides. The Spirit of God. That right there makes everything worse. A whisper from God. God whispers to his spirits. That comes within your mind. That's how God communicates to us. That's how Jesus communicates to us. These are the gifts. Jesus gave his life for us. And I believe God gave him domain over heaven's gates because he gave his life for his children on earth. And he felt no child can come through heaven's gate unless we have the permission of Jesus. The permission of Jesus. We have to go through Jesus. We have to follow the chain of command. Because it's right on earth don't mean it's right in heaven. And when you think something ain't right, you need to speak up your thoughts. Because them are the thoughts of Jesus and God. And I really believe they're Jesus. I pray to God sometime that God don't pay attention to what's going on here. Because this shit is crazy. This shit is crazy. We ever worry about the stock market going out, losing everything? Look at our children. Look what our children are doing, because they live out the mothers and fathers' fears, because we go into our homes and we spill our rage, the ignorant, the bigotry, and our children absorb that in. They absorb that in. Then they already got their own nightmares, their own problems they got to deal with. They have their own trials. They don't need to live out your trials. Keep your shit to yourself. Keep your shit. Protect God's child. The rooms in the house that defines a house. You have the kitchen, the dining room, the living room, the bathroom, the bedroom. That bedroom, the children don't supposed to come in there. That is who you need to be inside that bedroom. Close that door and keep that rage inside there. Protect the children from that. Even before you get a child, practice that. Practice that. And a woman, a lady of the house, a woman and man can not even come inside the home. We come to the thresholds of the house door. Once we walk through that threshold into the home, we become a lady and a gentleman. It's not about a husband and a wife, a mother and a father. You don't have to be in them. Them are extra extensions of your titles. But within that house and home, your titles of your manifestation, your stages that you live in life, them stages, your human being stages, not all them extras. Title for a contract, a COD. No, not cash on demand, but a contract on demand. Okay? Contract on demand. That is a marriage. And it's good for a woman. It's good for a mother to make a man even bound more to the contracts that he has already given to him by God. He has to pay for labor that you do for God. When you feel that privilege on a man should provide for you, it's the 3 P's. Parent your child. Even if it's not his seed, it's the child of God. It's greater than him, it's greater than you. You're the mother of God's child, and that's great. You have a direct communication for 10 months, an apprenticeship while God is inside you building that child. Believe in that within yourself. That is what I'm trying to speak to, the higher power in you. We bow to you. You are a vessel of God's children. And then we're letting them kill themselves with the man's guns, because man's ignorance, what they profit off of our children, and allowing that to happen. And we still not paying attention to it. We want to put money into the privilege of cars and purses and shoes and the ignorance, and God sees that. We need to stop this shit. God don't care about transgenders. If God didn't put it there, it ain't real. When you stand in front of Jesus, you're going to stand in your spirit form. Whatever you want to go do, you can cut it, tuck it, pluck it, whatever. God will never see your physical form. It's no different than a woman putting a big ass. And I love a big ass. I love a big ass. I get mad when I find out it ain't real. I want that natural. But my point is, it's not for me to question it. If that's what he choose to do, then guess what? Take it up with Jesus and God when that time comes. When you stand in front of them, your spirit gonna be left here. What is your spirit? As far as I know right now, it's angels and goddesses. And before we didn't think about goddesses, did we? A female thinks she dies and go to heaven as an angel. Why would you think so low of yourself? The angels one of the lowest of deities. Okay, you are a demigod. What you perform on earth, nothing should be able to bleed for 7 days, carry a child for 9 months, and live through the birth. That is demigod. You understand that? It's not me. That's what I believe. That's the thoughts from I receive from God. That's the message I'm passing to you. It's up to you to think about it and have your own conversation. And tell me, when you truly believe it, speak it. That's when you truly speak it in existence and you accept the word of God. Speak the thoughts and the words that you receive from that wisdom, that conversation, the wisdom. You speak that wisdom, you speak the word of Jesus and God. Believe in that, not me. I'm just telling you a little secret. The secret is when you're thinking about your thoughts, you're having a conversation with Jesus and God. What comes of that conversation is called wisdom. Your responsibility is to try to see the positive. And even if you can't see the positive, if you honestly ask yourself, what would Jesus do? and pay attention. Listen, stop being distracted about man-made shit. Pay attention. True meditation is knowing and being aware that you're thinking and having a conversation with Jesus and God. It's greater than yourself. You thinking about your thoughts is you having a conversation with yourself. That sounds retarded and crazy. Believe that you're having a conversation with Jesus and God outside of yourself. You have a blessed day, goddess and angels. Your higher self, find a greater purpose in life. It got to be more than just getting a nice car, a good job, and making a lot of money. The money, that is the tool of the devil. Distractions. It has to be a greater purpose. It has to be. Have a blessed day.